Hey everyone, this is Athekos, and it's finally that time again. Today I'm bringing you the best board games in my collection, 2023 edition. As usual, let me set the ground rules and add a few disclaimers. First of all, I'm not including pure solo games or games that I'm just mainly playing solo. For example, Hexplored is an amazing game, but I've only played it solo so far, so I will not include it on this list. Also, I'm only talking about games I've played enough to actually place them into this list. There are some games I just haven't played often enough yet to add them to the list. Also, what a shocker, I haven't played all games in existence. So there might be the one game you insist needs to be part of this list, but I might just not know it. Last but not least, we all have different tastes and preferences. And instead of arguing about that, let us frame that positively. Let me know the board games you enjoy the most. Maybe you'll be able to suggest a game I will love as well. On screen you can see a few honorable mentions, games that I enjoy a lot, but that didn't quite make the list or need to get to the table more often first. Alright, enough talk, let's now get into the list. Sea Salt and Paper is one of my most favorite new games I've played this year. It has such a simple premise. Draw a card each round. And that's it. But you can collect duos, two cards that belong together, and play them for effects that help you throughout the game. The most interesting aspects are the amazing origami-like graphics as well as the way you can end the round. Either you end it safely or you push your luck and challenge the opponents. An amazing small game. Hitster is one of my most favorite party games of the year. It may even be one of my most favorite party games ever. Essentially, you connect the game with your Spotify account and then you listen to songs trying to put them into the right order of their release. The best way to play it is cooperatively, but you can also play it competitively. What a fun way to start a board game party. My number 28 is Role Player. This is a game that I fell in love with pretty much instantly. It is a dice placement game where numbers as well as colors matter, and it is all done with a tabletop role-playing theme. You're essentially creating a hero, including backstory alignment and class. It is quite thematic, very geeky, and even better with at least one expansion. Floriferous is a game most people I played with immediately love. It is a really pretty set collection game where the row you draft a card from matters greatly since it determines your position in the next round. Do you rather want a card that helps you, or take a different one that lets you draft a card first next round? A simple game with a lot of interesting decisions and a great game. And here we are with the first game by Ryan Laukat, my most favorite game designer, Rome. This is a very simple puzzle game where you use specific shapes to cover as many squares on area cards as you can. When a card is completed and you hold the majority, you receive that card, which not only grants you points but also a new shape you can use. A simple but fun game with a great progression. I love it. Caper Europe is one of my most favorite two-player games. The game doesn't only have amazing components but very good gameplay as well. It is a tug-of-war game and you're trying to get control over the different locations with your thieves by using specific gear. The drafting and set collection mechanisms work really well here and keep the game exciting until the very end. I highly recommend this one. Dawn of the Zeds is a game I keep talking about a lot. I absolutely love this one. It doesn't hit the table often because it's long and complex, but when it does get played, it offers an experience no other game does. It's exciting, tense, and absolutely amazing. Five Tribes is a classic, and it's a really great one. This game is really elegant, even though there's quite a bit to wrap your head around. You're not really doing much, simply taking a handful of meeples from one tile and moving them all to another tile, dropping one meeple on each tile as you go. But there are so many decisions you have to make while doing this. A great game. The next game on my list is Meadow. First of all, this is such a beautiful game. But the gameplay is really solid as well. You're trying to collect sets of cards by fulfilling the requirements that are met by other cards you place in your tableau. Such a calming and still quite strategic game. I highly recommend this. Block by Block Uprising has been on my list for a long time. Finally, I managed to get a copy and boy do I like this. First of all, the theme is really unique. You control factions of revolutionaries fighting the police to liberate the city. And this works really well in this cooperative game. The game can run a bit longer and is quite tough to win, but really rewarding when you do. What a great game. Next up is Parks. This game is incredibly beautiful, has amazing components, offers very fun mechanisms, and has a great insert. The concept is very simple as you only move your hiker forward on the trail to collect resources for visiting parks or to take pictures of the wildlife. A great game that plays well at all player counts. Rank 19 is Everdell, one of the most beautiful games in existence. But it's also a really good game. It's a worker placement game where you are building up a tableau of cards, building up a small engine. Both mechanisms work really well together. The game is slightly more complex, but definitely a winner. Spirit Island is one of the best cooperative games ever. In essence, this is about settlers invading an island, but this time you're not the invaders but the spirits who defend against the unwanted guests. Each spirit has a completely different cards and abilities, which makes the game strategic, exciting and challenging to win. Number 17 is the next game by Ryan Laukat, Above and Below. This is a tableau builder where you build up buildings in a new village. But you can not only build above ground but also below, and that is where the exploration aspect comes in. Small story snippets demand your decisions and reward you with resources and building spots. One of my absolutely favorite games. Cosmoctopus is a rather new game in my collection, even though I have previewed the prototype already. It does have a few issues regarding player count and game length, but apart from that, it has a unique and adorable theme and it's really fun to build up your little tableau of cards. I really like this game by Henry Audubon, the designer of Parks. Dale of Merchants is one of my most favorite deck building games of all time. First of all, it has great theme and artwork, as do all games by Snowday Design. The gameplay is amazing as well. The regular deck building mechanisms are changed slightly, and you have a goal of being the first to finish your tableau of cards with ascending numbers. Also, the variety and replayability is huge if you own all decks. Definitely somewhat of a hidden gem. Number 14 is Cascadia, one of my most favorite gateway games ever. It is quick and easy to teach, but despite its simplicity, it has a really tactical and puzzly gameplay. It never is too demanding, but always engaging. I thoroughly love this game. Additionally, the game has achievements as well as a family mode. I highly recommend this one for every board game collection. Next up is Earth. This game was hyped up quite a bit, and when it finally was released, opinions were very split on it. I personally thoroughly enjoyed it. It is an engaging tableau builder that has a few unique mechanisms, most notably the ability to do the same action as the active player, just weaker, and the fact that abilities trigger for everyone each turn. A very satisfying game with a nice theme. Rank 12 is Distilled, a game that is pretty pricey and not easy to get, but I'm really glad I backed it. In this game you distill your own alcohol, and the game is very thematic since you can see that the designers know the distilling process and have implemented it quite well. The game has great components and works well at all player counts if you ask me. Next up is Cthulhu Death May Die. This is a game with a high luck factor and really crazy gameplay mechanisms, but it is just such a fun dice chucker. It's totally overproduced, but it does have a good table presence. The gameplay is really unique that makes you increase your insanity, which inches you closer to defeat but also makes you stronger. This is a really cool one. Sleeping Gods is another game by Ryan Laukat. This is a campaign-based game with beautiful artwork and an interesting world with amazing little stories. Your decisions do matter, as events you experience and items you find can aid you on your quest and change other encounters and quests. It is a bit more complex, but it is well worth it. I can't wait for the new installment in the series that will arrive by the end of this year. The next game is The Artemis Project. Yes, I like dice placement games, and this is one of my most favorite ones. This one has a really high player interaction that is a bit mean, but it is so well implemented. Essentially, you're able to push people down specific tracks with your dice, so they receive less rewards, but you can also be pushed down. It is really tactical and really fun. What an amazing game. It's a Wonderful World is a game I've played on my channel several times, and there's a good reason for it. It has really simple rules, but still is really tactical and demands a lot of thought. Yes, it can cause analysis paralysis if you let it in specific groups, but I still really enjoy it. I highly suggest this to anyone enjoying drafting and optimization games. Also, I love the cynical theme in this one. As every year, Mechs vs. Minis is in my top 10. Yes, this game is overproduced, but the components are stellar and the gameplay is amazing. It is a programming game where you determine your moves before the round, but there are two twists. The moves persist from round to round, making everything totally chaotic, and also it's a cooperative game. This game is a blast and utterly hilarious. Such an underrated game. Heat is one of my most favorite new games of this year. This game simulates car racing so accurately, and games are always really exciting and tense until the very end. It is quite easy to learn, but the decisions are quite deep. This is a very elegant game that plays well at all player counts. And you don't need to be a car fan to enjoy this game. One of the best games of the year, for sure. Rank 5 on my list this year is Keep the Heroes Out. Let's get the obvious out of the way. This game has amazing artwork and components. It is utterly adorable. But don't let that fool you. The game is really tough to win. I'm far off from winning all 20 scenarios. The variety is great with all these scenarios and different monsters that all play differently. One of the best games I have ever played. The next game on my list is Aeon's End. I have loved this game for years and is steadily climbing up my list of my most favorite games. It is a really well designed deck builder that never runs out of content. There's already so much content for it. It's pretty crazy. I absolutely love this game. We are now entering the top 3 with the Castles of Burgundy. This is such an elegant game that is quite complex. Yes, but it doesn't actually have too many rules, but still is really deep and strategic. And with the new edition by Awakened Realms, the game has received an amazing upgrade. But the other versions are still worth checking out. In my opinion, this is a masterpiece. Lands of Gelzer still is my most favorite story-based game. Yes, it does not have real progression or loot-based systems, but the narratives are engaging and the world is really immersive. This is a real gem. Fun fact, Sir Thekos can actually be found in the game. Isn't that awesome? Wingspan. Longtime viewers of my channel know how much I love this game. The game has a great theme, amazing components and very engaging gameplay. This is a game with medium complexity, but it's so elegantly designed that you can also play it with people who have less experience with board games. What an amazing game and one of the few ones I am never tired of playing. And that wraps up my 30 most favorite games in my board game collection. But now it's your turn. What are your most favorite board games of all time as of now? Let me know in the comments and also feel free to respond to other comments. Let's all have some cool conversations down there. As usual, I'd like to thank you all for your support. That means the world to me. I especially want to thank my patrons who are supporting me on Patreon. The biggest thanks go out to Thakono, who is currently my biggest supporter. Thank you so much for your generosity. You all know the drill. You can also support me by heading over to Patreon. But in general, I'm always thankful for a like, comment and especially a subscription. You can also join my Discord server if you'd like to hang out with me and my really amazing community. Alright, thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the very next video or on my Discord server. Take care everyone, stay safe and cheers.